Hi, this is Tanya Reinert. We are going to be doing our preschooler lesson plan through a GWIZ education curriculum, and that'll meet all of our Minnesota ESIPs is what it's called, the early childhood learning indicators of progress. So we are going to start with how we would normally start with our curriculum with the preschoolers that I have. So the preschoolers that I have both have ADHD, so our learning is it's straightforward with what we're going to do, but not all the time we get to continue what we're doing. They get easily distracted. They can't sit still. So, and we know this, so we'll just modify a little bit and keep going. Generally, when it comes to animals, though, or anything to do with the fair, because they know what the fair is, they definitely pay attention. So hopefully, this is actually tomorrow's plan, because today's outside plan, we had to come in for a little bit. They weren't ready for outside today. So this lesson plan is designed to help children build background knowledge about fairs. It has a lot of information about 4-H in animals. Our children have been at the fair. They really like it. They don't necessarily like a lot of noise all the time, so always bring headphones just in case. But this lesson plan also engages children in conversations, exposes them to new vocabulary, and it'll encourage some counting skills, which they really do enjoy the learning aspect of it, because they're very excited to start preschool. The group of learners, again, is my grandchildren. They are in my child care setting, as my child care is my home. Generally, I would have up to 6 children. Right now, with their needs, they are high functioning, so we are only my preschoolers right now. The objective for this lesson, we're going to get some physical activity, because we're going to walk to the fair, because we're going to set up our fair, and then we're going to go for a walk, and we're going to come back, and we're going to have admission tickets to get into our fair. So we'll have our plastic animals out, we'll have some stuffies out, whatever the kids would like to have out, because they have rodeo cows, they have horses, they have all kinds of goodies. So we will go for a walk first with our wagons, or if they would like to use their tricycles, they can use those. And while we're walking, a lot of the times with the preschoolers, we'll be walking, we'll take little steps, we'll take big steps, we'll walk like a duck, we'll waddle like a penguin, we'll do all kinds of different, as we're going, we got to keep them talking, it seems, otherwise they get very bored, and one really doesn't enjoy walking very far. I hear I'm tired or I'm done, and he will sit down on the sidewalk, done. So we try to keep, if we're walking or if we're using a wagon or a tricycle, we try to make sure we're keeping them thinking. So they're thinking about the animals or what they're doing versus we're on a walk. And then the children themselves will have an opportunity to create their own admission tickets. There is just a blank form for admission ticket, and they get to color it whatever color they want to, whether they want to paint or use crayons. And then we begin with singing a fair counting story. So identifying animals for the story, and then we're counting as we go. So by the end of the lesson, that they will have touched on language development, math, literacy, physical movement, being able to identify big and small animals, and social and emotional development. So once we are back and we're ready to admit ourselves into our fair, we'll put our tickets into the mailbox, and we'll start our fair counting story, and count. It is a counting story in itself. So let's see if I can find it here. The fair, we're going to the fair. What, oh, what do you think we'll see there? 1 Ferris wheel, 2 pretty quilts, 4 jars of peaches. So it just keeps on going, like everything you're going to see. The cows, the sheep, the squeaky piglets, the fluffy bunnies, the yellow chickens. Going to the fair is such fun, you see. Maybe the next time you can come with me. So lots of rhyming, lots of different things that you can see at the fair. They know what the Ferris wheel is, but they're not tall enough to ride it. Other things that we will have on hand while we're doing some of our activities is we'll have, again, our stuffies. We'll have some books picked out in case you want to read a different book. We always have different kindness books because sometimes we get this one's the ABCs of kindness. We have the color monster when they get kind of in a mood where they have the gray mood, we call it, or the blue mood where they're feeling sad because it's something that they don't want to do. So we'll talk about kindness, and we'll start kind of get sidetracked, but then we can come back to what we were doing because then they understand why they're feeling the way they're feeling. Because they may not want to sit still. They may be done sitting still, done listening to me talk. It's all depends on their day. And then we do use a daily schedule chart. So my daily schedule chart has morning, afternoon, and evening. And then these come out. So like we get dressed first thing in the morning. We eat our breakfast. We have a workbook that we might do, play outside, crafts. So these are interchangeable throughout the day, and I have a few of these. So we use them as needed. We'll have all of our printables out. Some of the other activities that they like to do when we have our animal activities. Waddle like a duck. We'll do some more physical movement in the house, kind of get them, make sure that they get plenty tuckered out throughout the day. It's hard to get them tuckered out. And there is different printables of the animals that have shapes. So we're not only learning about the animals, but we're learning there's a shape in that animal, and we can also match our shapes. Gallop like a horse, strut like a rooster, and hop like a bunny. So we have all kinds of different activities to kind of, if one isn't working, we gotta go to the next one. And books, again, we'll read them in the event if something isn't working. Sensory bins, usually it's either rice or we'll have Play-Doh, and then we'll have either the little type plastic animals, or we'll have just the generic plastic animals to put in with them. So we're still kind of having the same animal that we're talking about at the fair, because we want to talk about big animals at the fair, the cows, horses, and some barn animals that they might see. Asking the children if they know what this is, what kind of animal it is, kind of spurs some thinking. And when we do count, sometimes the 3-year-old gets, she can count up to 10, not a problem, but sometimes we get so excited we can't count. So we start with our song to refresh our memory and counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. So then we start our counting one more time, and we usually do pretty good after that. And then after our breakfast here is usually when the kids are kind of ready to learn. We have to do it in the morning. It doesn't work in the afternoon. They'll take some of these things like for in the afternoon and they'll play with them later on in the afternoon. They might draw on them because they're laminated with Expo markers. I just sit in my chair. I know when they're ready. And then we either sit at the counter or we'll sit down on the rug and execute our lesson plan. We'll count, we'll sing. We take extra opportunities to learn if we can, like talking about colors of the animals, what is their favorite animal, what do animals eat, what does a pig eat, what does a horse eat, and if you're going to have an animal at the fair, what one would you like? So we'll have different things while we're learning. We kind of try to incorporate, if I can, a little bit different. Other things that we have ready are blankets, the weighted blankets, or weighted vests, if that's something that the kids, if we feel like we can't sit still, it kind of helps a little bit so they can kind of sit still and pay attention. And then usually about the time it's ready for snack time, they're kind of done with their lesson plan. Sometimes we come back to it, sometimes it takes us a couple days to get through it, and it's okay. They are going at their own pace, and they're definitely still learning what we're going through because they'll remember everything. They have to tell their papa when he gets home exactly what they've done for today. I always try to make it more enjoyable, like the next time, like how can I have done it differently? Because they don't sit still. Is there something that's boring to them? Or and so I'll go to Pinterest. Sometimes the bingo daubers, they get to color the animals with the bingo daubers. They kind of like doing that. And I'll put notes in my folder because I will save this lesson plan and we'll do it another time. So each of the lesson plans will have the laminated sheets in them. And then we'll keep notes in there for what might work different for next time, or what else I should print off, or what I should have ready in addition to that was really fun. Or if it's really hot outside, take some of these animals outside into the water table. And once, right now I just have my grandchildren because in my childcare because of their again because of their high functioning ADHD. But once I have more children present, I used to have quite a few children, then we definitely split up. We'll split up in groups. The kids can play, do some free play, and sometimes we kind of take a break from our lesson plan and then we come back because we have to have a snack. So that is everything I do for my preschoolers. We might do more because they are busy little people.